Life is full of situations where you have to trust somebody. And sometimes that decision to trust is almost a matter of life and death. Well, it can be a matter of life and death. That's how important trust is. But who do we trust? And who do we listen to in an age where there's a multitude of opinions out there and everybody's got something to say, and even the so-called experts seem to disagree with each other? Where do we place our trust? Where do we seek guidance from? What is our source of truth in the things that we're looking for? Particularly important when it comes to our health, because there's nothing more important than your health or mine. We need to trust somebody, and many of us have found by bitter experience that we can't trust the medical people that we've gone to for help and advice. And many people have had this experience where they've trusted their doctor, and the doctor has just given them pills treating symptoms rather than the root cause, and they find themselves on an ever-growing list of pills. So in this video, I want to talk about the issue of trust. I want to share with you 4 people who I trust when it comes to my health. This trust has taken some time to build, several months, even up to a year of my life, trying to determine who I trust when it comes to my health. So today I could have picked far more than 4, but I've picked 4 people that I have learnt to trust, that I have put faith and my confidence into, and each one of these has produced a positive result in my life and my health as I've followed their advice. Now, as I say, I could have listed 20 probably that I've come across that I really trust, but these would be my top 4. Each of these 4 guys is highly trained. They are professionals in health and science, and each of them has written a book, or at least one book. But each of them is known for a book. So as I go through these names quickly, I'm going to mention not only the name of the person, but also the book that they've read. Now, over the past 15 months, I've read about 50 books on health and diet, everything I can find. But I would say very clearly that these 4 books written by these 4 guys would be the top 4 books that I have read on health that have helped me the most in getting a handle on my own health and my own diet needs, my own physical health and well-being. These books have really worked for me in so many different ways. So let me jump into these four people. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them, because if you've had any time in the carnivore world or even the low carb world, these names will be household names to you. The first one I want to mention here is this one. It's hard to find a picture of this guy when he's wearing a shirt, because this is Shawn Baker, Dr. Shawn Baker, orthopedic surgeon, and he is often called, rightly so, the king of carnivore. Shawn Baker wrote the book, The Carnivore Diet. He's almost the father of the modern era of the carnivore diet, I would think. And he has a record of telling it pretty straight. And he's got a great YouTube channel. You can look him up. He's short and to the point. He's also holds various records in rowing and rugby and bodybuilding. And he's nearly 60 years of age, but looking fantastic. And many videos online of him working out and so forth. But this guy is a professional doctor. One of the reasons I trust this guy is that in his book, in chapter 1, he tells his own story. Now, if you've never read Shawn Baker's book, The Carnivore Diet, get it. Chapter 1 alone is worth the price of the book. And in this book, he tells a heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching tale of how supporting the carnivore diet and introducing this to his patients cost him his career, it cost him his medical license, it cost him his reputation. And he did lose his license and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars of his own money fighting to clear his name, and his name was eventually cleared. But even today, in many circles, when you hear his name mentioned in the media, they often put the word disgraced in front of his name. That is tragic. That is a great miscarriage of justice. But look, here's a guy who was paid the price. You know, he's put his life, he's put his money, he's put his reputation on the line. I mean, there's something authentic about this guy, something real about this guy. You can trust him because he's been through it, he's paid the price, he knows what he's talking about, he's highly qualified, and he's giving his life to help others. So that's Dr. Shawn Baker and his book, The Carnivore Diet. Okay, for number 2, I'm going to talk about Professor Ben Bikman. Ben Bikman is not so much a doctor, but he's a medical science researcher and is highly qualified and spends his life researching medicine and particularly the topic of insulin resistance, which he believes is the root cause of so many of the metabolic diseases that we have today. He wrote the book Why We Get Sick. Now that book, I think, if you put me in a place where I had to pick just one book to read, I would say Ben Bikman's book, Why We Get Sick. That book will help you understand metabolic health like nothing else. Every chapter is an insight on a different topic. He goes everything from male impotence to, you know, right through the whole gamut of diabetes and heart and so on. It's all there in his book. It's relatively easy to understand. I got my head around it. And this guy is just prolific now on YouTube. He's speaking, he's doing all he can to get the message out. And so I would commend to you Professor Ben Bikman on YouTube and in his book, Why We Get Sick. Now, he's just released a second book, a follow-up to that first book called How Not to Get Sick. And it's a sequel, but it's the second half of that second book is all recipes. And I've tried a few of them and they are fantastic. So, Professor Ben Bikman, I commend him to you. Okay, my number 3 is this guy here, and you almost certainly know this guy. He is Ken Everywhere. I mean, not just Dr. Ken Berry, I call him Ken Everywhere. I actually call him the cowboy because this guy is a medical doctor, board certified. He's had over about 25 years of medical experience, and his videos are straight. Like, if you want to hear something straight with no crap, no beating around the bush, no airy-fairy stuff, just straight to the point, good, honest, reliable answers, Ken Berry is your man. He is prolific on YouTube. I think when I checked just now, he had over 1,800 videos on his own YouTube channel. He is prolific and he's got videos on every question. So many times when I get asked a question about a health matter that's out of my depth to answer, I say go listen to Ken Berry on that. He's got a video on every question you could ever look for in the terms of health and diet, and particularly the carnivore diet. He is worth listening to. He is a good guy. Kerry Mann, who's making the documentary Healing Humanity, recently put out a video where he had clips of over 100 people saying the words, Dr. Ken Berry saved my life, in the midst of giving their story. And that's how effective, that's how much influence and impact Dr. Berry has had. He wrote a book called Lies My Doctor Tells Me. And again, you're going to get straight shooting here on every lie, you know, from cholesterol all the way through fiber, all of these topics, they're all in there, calories in, calories out. They're all in this fantastic book, and it's readily available. Lies My Doctor Told Me. I commend that to you, and I commend his videos to you, particularly if you've got any questions on any specific issue, related in any way at all to the carnivore diet. Number 4 is Dr. Philip Ovadia. Dr. Philip Ovadia is a cardiologist and a heart surgeon. He has performed literally thousands of heart operations in his time as a heart surgeon. He had a turnaround moment that he tells in the first chapter of his book. His book's called Stay Off My Operating Table. And again, like I said about Shawn Baker's book, get Stay Off My Operating Table just for the first chapter alone. It's worth the price of the book. He tells the story of a crisis in his life, a crisis moment where he had to operate on a girl that ultimately died, and he went into his office and wept and thought, I can never be the same again. I've got to change the message I'm telling my patients, and he has. And he is today at the forefront of leading a different message about heart disease. He's challenging the status quo. He's making a difference. He's a good guy, and you can trust him implicitly, particularly in the area, anything to do with heart disease. This is his topic. This is the thing he knows better than anything else. And his book takes you through the 5 markers of metabolic health that all of us have got to look out for. And I would just encourage you to get that book, listen to Philip Ovadia. He talks sense, he's down to earth, he has integrity in my opinion. So that's Dr. Philip Ovadia. I trust him. So there we are, that's just 4. As I said a bit earlier, I could go on and name quite a few more, but there's 4 names. And I think if you don't know where to start with these four guys, because I'll tell you what they all have in common. They all have integrity. That means when you listen to them, you get that ring of truth. You know, when you're listening to somebody speak, you've got an inbuilt guidance system, God-given, up in your head, and you can tell if you're listening to crap, can't you? You can tell if somebody's making it up and blowing smoke out of their rear. You can tell. We've all got that discernment. And when you listen to these guys, they have that ring of authenticity. All of them have paid a price. All of them have shaken the system. All of them are going against the grain, sometimes, like Dr. Shawn Baker did, at enormous cost and enormous price. Not only that, but all of them have had personal transformations in their own life, so they've lived out what they're talking about. All of them are on a mission now to help as many people as they can. And I'll tell you something else that they all have in common. None of them have got anything to sell. You see, you can't sell carnivore. That's why the big food companies won't grab onto it. That's why, you know, commercially it's never going to work, because there's nothing to sell. You know, these guys, they might be selling their books, and that's fair enough. They've taken the time to write the books, so go and buy their books. But they're not selling, you know, lotions or potions or magic formulas or this $3,000 course that'll transform your life. They're just putting all the information out there. Look at Ken Berry, 1,800 videos on YouTube just to help people. I mean, this is authenticity plus. And I would just say again that these 4 guys, for myself personally, I've been tremendously helped by all 4 of these guys. All of them have had a profound influence in my life since I've been on this carnivore journey, a bit over 12 months now, and made a huge difference in my life. So I often get asked, people raise the question with me, who can I trust? Well, I say, start here. Start with these 4 guys, because you can trust them. And as you listen to them, you'll just know that you can trust these guys. So I want you to think about that, friends. Who do you trust when it comes to your health? Are there others? I know there's many more we could name, but feel free to put in the comments who it is that you trust, or your own story about, you know, either being let down by a doctor that you trusted, or a doctor that went above and beyond, a doctor that wasn't there just to give you pills and make a quick dollar and give you a 10-minute consultation and out the door and next please, that type of thing. You want people who have integrity, who you can really trust. So if you've got somebody like that, share that in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Now, if you're wondering where to find these guys that I mentioned today, they're all on YouTube. Just search their name, you'll find their channel straight away. You'll find their videos. They're easy to find. The books, I've listed them all there. You can look them up. They are easy to find and readily available on Kindle and different formats that you buy books in. Look, I wanted to invite you to subscribe to this channel and to subscribe to my Facebook group, the Carnivore Pensioner Facebook group. It's our community. And also consider becoming a member of this video channel. Members get a couple of perks. One is that you get access to videos a day before anybody else. So any video I put up, members get it 1 day earlier. And also once or twice a month, I release a members only video that is always of a more personal nature, a little bit behind the scenes about me and my life, and you know, what goes into this channel, how much money I make, and all those sort of things come out in those videos. In my last 2 videos, I talked about 2 great organizations or great empires, if you like, that we cannot trust, and that is Big Pharma and Big Food. And if you missed those 2 videos, I'll leave links to them above. But look, good on you for watching. Keep telling your story, keep reading, keep learning more, and God bless you. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.